Hello, so my name's Michael Conneely and I'm telling you about my novel Rune Magic. And Rune Magic is available on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk and worldwide on Amazon. And it is the story of how Odin, the magnificent warrior magician god, had heard that the rule of the Aesir gods of the ancient Norse people was threatened, indeed was doomed, and that Ragnarok was coming, where the forces of chaos would throw down the beauty of the gods. And so in this story, two young people are taken up by Odin because he believes in his endless search for solutions and ways of averting the disaster that these two young people could in some way manage to bring forward into future time his message, his power, his work and the beauty of the gods. And the novel includes quite wonderful information about the Norse cosmology, the beauty of the Norse gods and the horrific horror of anti-gods like Hel and Fenrir. And of course, the rather dubious and enigmatic Loki. So I'm going to read a passage, and basically what's happened is that Declan and Magda have been taken up by Odin to the world in the past as Ragnarok approaches. The Fimbul winter, the 3-year winter which precedes Ragnarok, has started. And they're sheltering in the house of a Gothi, that's a Norse ritual priest, and his family. And they found, when they had been lifted up by Odin, that in their backpacks were all sorts of wonderful things, including rune tablets. And in the howling depth of the Fimbul winter, Declan reads to the family every night from the rune tablets, as they wait till the moment comes when they must go forth to do the work they have to do. And so here's Declan reading from one of the rune tablets. Eastward in Yarnvid, the ironwood, an old troll crone sits, the loathsome anger brother. She, by the way, is Loki's beautiful wife. And there fed Fenrir's evil brood. One from all of these will one day swallow the sun. He feeds on the flesh of doomed men. Sunlight in summer shall be black thereafter. Then comes icy Fimbul winter, the last great winter when the sun becomes black. Snow shall drive from all quarters. Frosts shall be great then, and winds sharp, and there will be no virtue in the sun. Those winters shall proceed, 3 in succession, and no summer in between. Would you know more? And what? In that time, brother shall kill brother for greed's sake, and none shall spare father or son. Brother will fight brother and slay each other. Sisters' sons will violate their sacred blood bond and betray their kin. Hard it is on earth, great whoredom, axe age, sword age, shields are cloven, wind age, wolf age, until the world perishes. No man will then spare another. Would you know more? And what? And Falyar, the bright red cock crows to awaken giants and summon them to the final war against the Aesir gods. And then the Galahorn shall sound. Heimdall shall waken Warfather Odin's warriors in high Valhalla. Heroically, nobly, fearlessly, the prophecy-doomed gods shall bravely sally forth. The Einherjar, hero dead in the hall of the slain. Prepare for hopeless fight. For the courage of the hero is absolute resistance. Perfect because it is without hope and also utterly doomed. Would you know more? And what? The Galahorn sounds loud again. Loud shall blow Heimdall, watchman of the gods, guardian of the rainbow bridge to Asgard, raising his horn aloft. Then ancient towering Yggdrasil shall tremble. The ancient ash groans as the giants break loose. At this point, young Frithgeir, although 13, and striving bravely to hold back his grief, joined the youngest brothers, Bragi, Ari and Einar, who had been weeping more and more as the seeress uttered her relentless and utterly dreadful prophecy. Its certain truth was made all the more real by the dreadful winter outside. Frithgar howled inconsolably. The ravens too suddenly screamed hideously and whirled down from their beam at Brosny. Brosny sprang aside to duck their ravening claws and slashing beaks, and fell into Declan. And as Brosny fell, he dashed the priceless rune tablets to the floor, where they shattered utterly. Everyone in the room looked horror-struck at the fragments lying on the floor. "You fucking idiot," Declan cried at Brosny. "Look what you've done, you've destroyed the tablets." "It wasn't my fault," Brosny cried, outraged. He swung round and thumped him. "The ravens did it." "Oh yeah," Declan raved bitterly, picking up one of the larger fragments, all of which had ceased immediately and utterly and irrevocably to give off their blue glow. "Now we'll never know how the worlds are going to end. Now we'll never know how we're supposed to save them. Do you see what you've done, Brosny? I would not have thought even you could be so fucking clumsy." Brosny made to hit Declan again, but his father gripped his fist. "We might have been able to do something to change the outcome if only we'd known the full details," Declan shouted. "Just look what he's done." Declan pointed at the fragments. They no longer gave their meaning. All Declan could see was untranslatable Norse runes. "Look, this is the biggest fragment. Look at this, you clumsy fool," shouted Declan. "Who could read this?" Declan and Brosny grappled with each other, so great was their anger. The ravens ducked and dived around them, screaming as Brosny leapt for Declan's throat and dragged him from the floor. "Say it was not my fault," Declan, Brosny insisted through clenched teeth, wrenching free from his father, his hands grappling Declan's throat. Asmundr, the Gothy, calmly threw open the door to let the ravens out, and then he waded over to Declan and Brosny, striding through the crying smaller boys, and picked each of them up by their collars. "Brothers will fight brother and slay each other," the Gothy quoted implacably. "Stop it, you two, and make friends again. Don't you see the High One has decided there is something about the prophecy of the end of all the worlds that you are not to know, not now at this time." He stared at the two boys in the eye. "You must pray to him if you wish him to bless your quest, Declan. You must not attack your friend." "I'm sorry, Brosny," Declan said at last. "It wasn't your fault. I shouldn't have said it." "I'm sorry too," Brosny muttered, carefully rubbing his very red ear where Declan had thumped him. "You're right, sir," Declan said, turning to the Gothy. "Whenever I have tried to find out the exact detail of the ends of the world, something has stopped me. Now I see it. This has been going on for 9 months now, ever since I started my quest. Someone is trying to stop me knowing something. It's as if one particular detail at least that I'm not supposed to know. I don't think I was meant to read to the end of the rune prophecy," Declan said forlornly, looking at the priceless ruin of the once beautiful smashed tablets. "Well, I suppose that's it," Declan said dully. "Magda and I had better pack. We'll be off tomorrow." And then he nearly started crying. Little Ari suddenly seemed to go into one of his fits, and Lilja rushed tiredly yet again to hold him tightly and wrap him in his blanket until the fit passed. The family sat numbed. Then Brosny suddenly said, "I'm coming with you." He startled them all by saying what had obviously been eating out his heart ever since they'd arrived. Declan gaped. Magda looked at Brosny thoughtfully. "I'm coming with you," Brosny repeated. "But you can't come with us, Brosny," Declan said gently. Declan looked as if he hardly could bring himself to voice the cruel words he felt he now had to utter. But after struggling, he mastered himself. He looked Brosny in the eye and said, very softly, "Brosny, if the worlds are going to end soon, quite simply just this, would you not want to be with your family at that time?" Declan stood there looking Brosny in the eye. "Brosny, you're arranged to marry Grimhilda within the month," his mother Lilja told him distractedly. "You can't go." "I will not marry Grimhilda," Brosny told his mother flatly. "Perhaps if you kiss her she'll turn into a beautiful maiden," his younger brother Frithgeir asked mischievously. Brosny snapped and lashed out at his brother and clipped Frithgeir hard on the ear, but was again restrained by Asmunda. "I am going with Declan and Magna," Brosny said, "and that's the end of it. The 9 worlds can be saved. The High One seems to have a plan which involves those two, and I'm going to help them. They'll be safer with me to help them." Declan looked rather doubtfully at that, but politely said nothing. But at the same moment, Magda said very quietly, "You can come with us, Brosny." Declan gaped. He looked at Magda questioningly. Asmunda stood up and everyone else fell silent. "Brosny," Asmunda said, "you have a duty of frith to your family, especially at these times. You cannot go. You are staying with us." "Father, I ask you to release me from my duty of frith in these terrible circumstances." Brosny went down on one knee. "I ask you in the hope that one day the family will be together again. If the 3 of us can succeed in the desperate work the High One wishes." "Sir," said Magda, also kneeling before Asmunda, "would you honour me by explaining what the duty of frith is, and how it prevents Brosny from following his ardent desire to come with us on this final mission for the High One?" "Frith means peace, Magda," Asmunda explained gently but with finality. Every man has an obligation to support the frith of others. Every man should act in a way that supports the welfare of others. In everything you do, you must consider how it supports or hurts frith. You must consider every action, and your heaviest obligation of frith is to your bloodkin. Brosny looked confused, wilted and dismayed. But Declan sprang forward. Declan picked up his knife. He made a cut right across the palm of his hand so that blood bubbled right across its length and ran bright red, dripping on the straw. "Brosny, I ask you to become my blood brother," Declan cried. Everyone in the hut started. "Be my blood brother, then your debt of frith will be to me as bloodkin, and your orlog will strengthen if you support me. Me, a family member as I would be, on the final quest of the High One, great Odin. Blessed by the sacrifice of your own father as Gothi, and started at the darkest time in the history of the 9 worlds." Asmunda looked confused, but Brosny too seized the knife and cut his own palm, and the two pressed their palms together. Their blood mixed and they swore blood brotherhood until death. And then they embraced. "But Brosny, what about your marriage?" his mother Lilja cried, holding her hand anxiously to her breast. "The contract is sworn, the dowry is settled. Your marriage is next month to Grimhilda." "F Grimhilda," both boys said at once. I bet the effing cows are dead anyway by now, dead from the Fimbulwinter, his younger brother Frithger observed, referring to Grimhilda's dowry. Then he cracked out laughing, and Brosny and Declan joined him. And anyway, Frithger cried out suddenly, I'm coming with you too. Thank you.